Hello and welcome to another episode on Podcast. But before we start that, as the usual tradition remains, drum roll, congratulations, welcome to the 10th month of the year 2022. Wow, I can't believe I've said this 10 times this year, but I am saying it, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to say that. Congratulations for making it until this time. It's been God's mercies that has kept each and every one of us, including myself. It's worth thanking God for this privilege to be alive. I don't know at what point in life you are in right now. I don't know how things are going in for you, but it's a privilege. A lot has been happening in recent times. And like I said earlier, it was in the year 2020 that I was inspired to say this due to the COVID and the several circumstances that happened in 2020. I felt it was something to be grateful for intentionally. And since then, it has remained a tradition until God says otherwise. But yes, every first podcast in the first every first day of the month, a podcast is made with a congratulatory note for every listener. If it's not made on the first day, if a podcast is not shared on the first day, then the first podcast of every month would have a congratulatory note. And God has been helping me to be punctual with making it on the first day of the month. So yes, this is it. Welcome, congratulations once again. So now, hello and welcome to another episode on Restcast. Interestingly, today is going to be a special episode because today is the 1st of October, and the 1st of October is Independence of Nigeria. Nigeria gained independence on the 1st of October 1960. And yes, Nigeria should be in her 62nd birthday. 62nd birthday. And so today's episode is going to be a special one. And as like you already seen in the title, I'm going to be talking about why am I a Nigerian? Or like I say, I'm just going to be answering that question. It's a rhetorical question. But yes, that came to my mind when I thought about a special episode for this day. And it's a question that I've had people ask. There was someone who actually asked me that question directly. And it was a rhetorical question. However, it was a question that actually stayed in my heart one week. And I thought about it. Why am I a Nigerian? Like, why? Why? If you're not a Nigerian, where you are coming from, why are you coming from where you are coming from? Like, this is a very rhetorical question. However, I'm just going to be answering what that means to me in today's podcast in relation to the Independence Day. So if you're a Nigerian listening to this, happy independence. Nigeria is 62 years old. I don't know whatever emotions it must be evoking for you, or if you don't even care at all. But I'm going to be sharing on that today as God lets me. So with that being said, let's ride into today's episode on Podcast. So of all nationality to be born into, of all heritage, of all roots to be of, God made me Nigerian. Like, why? With recent happenings going on, recent discouragement, recent will I say uncomfortable situations going on, unhappy states, it also comes like, God, why wasn't I just made from a descendant of an environment where life was better, where life was at least easy? Why am I in Nigerian? Why, of all places, am I in Nigerian? And I think the reason why this question is asked by many people is because most times we ask this question in a very blindsided way, in a one-sided way. Now, for me, this question has not come in that direct way because I've always said I'm grateful to be Nigerian. I love being a Nigerian. I am an Igbo girl. I am grateful to be an Igbo girl. I don't think I am interested in ever wanting to be not an Igbo girl. I don't know how that sounds to you, but I am not regretting being an Igbo girl. I'm going to be an African. I just love the thought because that is nothing I can do about it. And I've come to a place where I've accepted it, and I love it. I love the Igbo culture in the sense that whenever I encounter it in like documentaries, or I read up on it, or I just see the colorfulness of my culture, I appreciate it. Now, I'm grateful to be a Nigerian. Like, I love the colorfulness and the diversity of being in Nigeria and the uniqueness that comes with being a Nigerian. And then when I go back down to being an African, I just also love that because I personally have come to a point to accept that there is nothing I can do about it. So instead of being resentful about it, I'm grateful for it. However, the other side I've thought about is that if I wasn't a Nigerian, would life have been better for me? Would things have been better for me? Would I have had a better chance at life, at things that I'm interested in, at things that I want to do with my life? Would I have had a better chance if I wasn't a Nigerian? I've thought about that. Would it have been possible that, some things that appear to be so difficult to attain because I'm a Nigerian, I would have easily attained it if I wasn't? I have thought about that. And when most people, make a statement like, "Oh, why am I in Nigeria? Why was I born in Nigeria?" It's because most times, we think that life would be better if we're not Nigerians. And I would not say this completely wrong. There's a truth to it to a great extent. However, there are people like us, even in any other place, any other part of the world, and it's not just because you were born in a particular place that life would be better for you, that life would just be automatically signed off, that you wouldn't have any kind of challenge or troubles at all. However, it's the truth that some certain environment, it has been created to help people to grow. It has been created to help people to prosper, to be able to achieve their dreams. So if you are able to put in the effort and the work, you have the high possibility of achieving your dreams. Which, to a great extent, in the Nigerian environment, there are so many obstacles and so many discouragement that it needs one to be extra hardworking in order to achieve certain things. Now, all around the world, Nigerians are known to be very hardworking. Nigerians are known to, be the top of the game. Like, wherever a Nigerian steps in, it's as if like somebody interesting and unique and special has come into the place. And Nigerians could be very competitive because of the kind of environment that we're coming from. It's more like fight for yourself, fight for your dreams, fight for your future. Because if you don't do that, nobody may remember you. You may not be able to achieve as much as you can or as you want. So for me, this question has come in the form of, is it possible that if I was in a different environment, that life would have been better for me? However, I am very grateful to be a Nigerian. I just love the thought of it. I just love the fact that I'm a Nigerian. I just love the beauty of it, without actually having to think about all the bad things that are happening or the negative things that are so associated with being a Nigerian. For me, this is my own take in a very pure, or let's in in a very pure, undiluted manner. Now, for me to say this doesn't mean that you too also have to have such sentiment. However, I also believe that there's no need to. That is if you're a Nigerian listening to this, but that doesn't mean that there should be so much resentment and anger, because there's really nothing much that you can do about it. Now, by the way, there are Nigerians that did not grow up in Nigeria, that are not born in Nigeria, that are born in other environment or that cultural environment, and possibly they may not be having the kind of thought that or this type of question that most of us living in Nigeria may be having. The people that have grown up and have left Nigeria to find greener pastures and found a way to like pursue their dreams in every different environment. But the reality of the fact that this is where our roots are from, no matter where you were born, no matter where you grew up, that root is also always going to be there, that this is where you are coming from. Now, if I'm to talk about those that are in the country, the discouragement is just getting worse and worse. There's a recent thing I've been hearing, a recent audio where someone was like, the pressure is getting worse and worse. I don't know where that's coming from, but like the complaining, the let's say the discomfort, the disappointment in the country getting worse and worse. Let me just use that. First of all, one of the things would be the ASU strike. Like that strike has been on for like more than, if I'm not wrong, for more than 6 months. I think I may even be wrong on that. Maybe I think it's up to 7 months. And by don't forget that there was COVID, where most federal universities did not really provide an environment to cover up for. So students have spent going to 2 months, and prior to COVID, there was a strike that lasted for probably up to 4 months. If I'm not wrong, I think I may even be wrong in the amount of time. So students have practically lost about 1 year, 2 years of their life, not because they were bad in school, they had a problem in school, but just because the system itself has failed them. Not to talk of the lecturers that have to be paid are not being paid. These are people that have families. How are they meant to survive? So the state of Nigeria has been corrupted to the point where it frustrates hardworking people. It frustrates people from prospering and growing. The environment are created in such a way that unless you bend your principles, unless you are willing to bend your back and join everyone to do the wrong thing, there's a high possibility that you may not do very well unless you leave the country. So not to talk about the kidnappings, the killings, the unnecessary incessant killings. Not to talk about the corruption, people stealing people's stuff. Like they say Yahoo Yahoo, people, internet fraud. I'm sorry, please. Internet fraud. Like so many things just keep happening that discourage people. Now, as a medical practitioner, I and my colleagues have talked about the fact that what we are being paid is not commensurate to the stress we are going through. More doctors are leaving the country, making the work more hectic for those that are left behind. There are less hands, they are more patient. Yet, your salary does not reflect the amount of stress you are going through. Neither does it protect you from the danger of the work, because there's so much danger involved in being a doctor. Not to talk about the frustration that patients are going through, which they still pour on you, the frustration from your colleagues pour on you, the frustration that your seniors pour on you. So literally the environment is not even conducive to do your work well, even when you love doing your work. So with all of this pressure and stress and everything, that one sees in the country, is as if day by day it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting frustrating, more frustrating and stressful. And I'm sure some of these things are what make a lot of us, if you're a Nigerian, if you have ever thought about it, just wonder, God, of all places to bring me to, why Nigeria? Why this place? Why this land where it seems as though you just have to suffer and stress and stress? And even if you are able to provide enough money, it may just be enough money to eat. So it's not like you don't have enough money to save, to invest, or to build wealth. It's money that's enough to stay alive. It's money that's enough to stay alive. Then you see people that don't appear to be, doing so much or contributing so much to society. They end up being the one that appear to be living the life. So with all this frustration, it's enough to make people ask enough questions like, God, why Nigeria? Why this place? Why this place? But like I said, my own stance still remains that I love the colorfulness of this country, the diversity and the beauty, just the beauty. I know what is going on is not what it's meant to be, but I love the beauty. But then anybody asking this question, can feel valid to ask if and they want. So what just matters is that the resentment, allowing it to build resentment would not help anyone. So Nigerians are very creative and unique and talented, very talented people. Wherever we go, it is known that Nigerian is there because there's just something that is special about us. It's true that there are stories of people that, have like put us in trouble and have caused people to be embarrassed, be treated inappropriately in other countries. It's true some people keep on causing us problems in other places that makes it difficult for us to access, or have made some certain laws to be created that will limit our access or our privileges in some certain places. But aside from that, we see more and more the world trying to copy Nigerian style, Nigerian music, Nigerian appearance, Nigerian food. There's just something about us that makes us special. And I believe that just God's, I don't know, there's something about us that God has made us unique with. Now, I'm not saying if you're not a Nigerian that you're not special. Certainly you are. In Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, God talking to Jeremiah there saying that before I formed in your mother's belly, I knew you and I ordained you. So you don't have to be a Nigerian to feel special. And I don't think I have to say that. But let me just say and emphasize that God, considers all of us very special. However, it's important for us to also know when God, has singled some of us out and align with that plan. This also reminds me of Moses. In Hebrews chapter 11, they talked about Moses being a special child, his mother recognizing that her child was special, and she knew that this is not the type of child that should be killed. So I have to find a way to protect him, and she had to go an extra mile to make sure that her son was safe. And Moses ended up being a special man who rescued the people of Israel from Egypt, and for a long time was compared to even Jesus. Like they were the only people in the only people that survived in their generation, the role and purpose they served in saving their people. Moses saved his people, Jesus saved the world. There were so many things that there were a lot of similarities if you're a Bible scholar that are between Moses and Jesus, and especially if you read the book of Hebrews, you see that comparison was made. Now, there's something about being in Nigeria that singles us out, and it's just God's special hand on us. There's nothing much that can be done about it. Nigerians are highly intelligent. However, this intelligence may not be used always in the right way. And like I said, because of so many environmental limitations, a lot of people are not able to really achieve their goal, and some only end up achieving their goal when they go to a different environment, thus only making Nigerians proud from outside. However, that is not replicated in helping us to grow because they are in another environment, in another country, in another continent, prospering their place. So I believe that with this, it's important to be, first of all, grateful to God first for being in Nigeria, because there's nothing we could do about it. Now, there are other things that we can do about our current state, and not only being resentful and unhappy about what's going on, but there are things that we can actually do. And that is what some part of this podcast will continue on. And as God will help me, I believe that what will continue to be shared will bless you. With the election coming close by, some of the things that we could do is to sit back and ask ourselves, what can I do? What contributions can I make to make Nigeria better? First of all on the list would be to pray. Is to first of all pray and not to stop praying, and to be careful of the words we say. Some people live their life daily cursing Nigeria, and it doesn't even make any sense. If you're going to continue to be in the country that is like this, especially if you don't have a means of living, then why would you continue cursing the country? That's like you're actually backfiring yourself. The second thing also is to watch our actions. The problem of Nigeria are Nigerians. It's not an alien that is doing this to us. It's not an outsider. Some of the times, so people like to blame the British people that because they colonized us. However, in retrospect, if one looks at Nigeria functioning during the British um, colonization, it appeared to even function better. Some of the structures that were laid during that time are still functional. What caused Nigeria more problem was greed, was fight for power, was because we didn't even understand what it meant to rule a country. We didn't even know what it meant to be united, and because of greed, Nigeria was ruined from onset, from on time, from even before and during independence. It was not long after independence that there was the civil war, there was a lot of coup, and Nigeria didn't really enjoy being independent. And that brings the question to be that were we even ready for independence? Would it have been better if we had waited a while to understand what it meant to be independent before being independent? But without going back to that, it's for us at this point to ask ourselves, what am I even doing at this point in my life that is even helping Nigeria in any way? Now, there's a common phrase people say that everyone is corrupt. Everybody does corrupt. Everybody's corrupt. So because of that, people are not willing to ever do the right thing. And then the other side is that for those who even try to do the right thing, they are being discouraged, they are being castigated, stigmatized, they are being, made fun of, they are being treated worse. So at the end of the day, there is no even encouragement to even do the right thing. And it brings me to say that if you are complaining Nigeria is not good, then how come your own quarter you are not doing it? You are not coming to work, you are not treating your employees well, you are stealing from your employer, you are bribing your way through, you are not putting you in a quota. How in the world can things get better? A lot of things have been known as the norm because we ourselves have refused to look into ourselves to see where our problems are coming from. Then down to the leaders, we have leaders who don't really have concern or affection for the country or for the people or for the system. They are only interested in their own family and personal gain. So it comes down to the fact that many Nigerians don't even think of Nigeria as their country. They are always thinking of Nigeria as where they can benefit for what they want, which is not what is found in prospering countries. Prospering countries, structures are set that are laid down to make the country grow, not to make an individual to prosper alone. Now, once one structure has been set down to make the country grow, if the individuals themselves must and will certainly grow, because the people living in the country will benefit from the blessing, or from the advantage rather, from the advantage of the country growing. But when the structure is set to only make individuals to grow, certain individuals to grow, it means there are other individuals that will not grow. And that is one of the things that Nigeria is facing. The fact it is the people themselves. The people themselves are the problem of Nigeria. We are the ones who refuse to think properly, who refuse to care about the leaders that we are putting in place, who refuse to consider the decisions we are making, who insist on being tribal, religious. We don't look at people who can provide solutions. We're looking at the people that are from our tribe. Even if the people from our tribe are not good for the country. And then the thought of, the non-unifying thought. Many of us Nigerians do not even consider other Nigerians as brothers, as sisters, because they are not from our tribe. And that for me is one of the most ridiculous things that always baffles me, is that most people do not still consider each other as Nigerians. Like, we don't even think of ourselves as Nigerians. We only think of ourselves as our tribe. We only think of ourselves as our religion, what we practice. And as long as it's not that, the other person does not matter. And with this kind of mind, it's impossible for us to even ever trust people that are not from our place or anything to do anything right. And so with that being said, we cannot support the growth. We will not put our effort, we do not put our hard work, we will not do things that make the other person grow because of our sentiment that we have towards these smaller things that I've mentioned, and coming down to the Nigerian election that is going to be going on in 2023, a lot of arguments have come online, in person, although I try to avoid such arguments, but I've had people make arguments about their choice of candidate, and sometimes when you see the kind of argument people are making, it could be very, very alarming and wow, interesting. Very interesting. So, I'll repeat it again. The problem of Nigeria is Nigerians. And if you're a Nigerian, I think you should ask yourself, am I really adding to the problem of this country? I think that's a good place to start from. With that being said, some of us don't really have, life principles that will even help us. So it's not a matter of leaving the country. Because when you go to a country that is ruled by principles, you need to abide by that principle in order to stay. And that's why some certain Nigerians will go to certain countries. And because they don't even have such principles that are part of them, they go there and they cannot survive. They cannot live there because they don't even have a proper moral principle. They've been so used to being corrupt. They've been so used to bribing their way. They've been so used to lying. A Nigerian can tell you that I'll be coming in by 8, by 4, or a meeting is going on by 4, but just add 2 hours to it before they actually really come. Or they'll say, I'm coming right now, I'm on the way, but the person is still lying on the bed. So we are used to this culture of lying, being dishonest, not keeping to our word, of bribing our way through. Some of this with time has become like a reflex action, which in itself is very wrong and cannot help us to actually grow. Now, leaving the country is an option, and like I already said, some environments, some places help you to achieve your goals, your dreams. But not everyone can leave Nigeria, and not everyone will leave Nigeria. Some will have to stay, some cannot, not everybody will leave. However, even if you do have the plan to leave Nigeria to seek a greener pasture elsewhere, it's better for you to know that where you are going to may not always just be green as you want it. If you don't have a personal principle that can guide you to being useful to where you are going to, you are still going to face your problems. You're still going to face the problems. You're still going to have your challenges, which we would have to deal with. Another thing would be that every place, every environment that we go to have its challenges. And that's going to be taught that a lot of Nigerians do not understand that there is no place that is so perfect. Every place has a challenge. And that's why when most Nigerians leave Nigeria to other countries, they have a shock because they think that automatically everything about their lives will be good, will be perfect, will be so different. But when they go there, they realize for some that they even had a better life in Nigeria than leaving the country. So it's not just all about leaving the country, it's about actually understanding yourself and understanding the principles that you carry and asking yourself, would this principle help me where I am going to? Now, as a believer in the Word of God, as a believer who believes in hearing the voice of God, even when it comes to, desiring to leave the country to go to another place to be, that has to be led by God. I have been asked this question for more than 2 years. More than 2 years. When I'm leaving the country, when I'm going out, when are you going to leave? And I'm always very careful to, let people know that if the Lord wills, if the Lord places it on my heart and says, like Moses, okay, it is time to leave, it's time to move forward, or as God spoke to Joshua, it's time to move forward, then I'm going to do that. But if the Lord doesn't say that, then I'm going to trust God that even if I'm going to be in Nigeria, He's going to prosper me. Just like Isaac, God asked him to stay where he was, even though there was famine. God told him He was going to prosper him. And in that place, God really prospered him. Just like Abraham and Lot. Lot left to Sodom and Gomorrah because it looked better. And he left Abraham with the dry and desert place. But in that dry and desert place where Abraham was, God prospered him. So it's beyond just where you are. It's important where God wants you to be, because where God wants you to be will be where He'll prosper you. Yes, the total condition about the place may not be favorable, but because God is there, the God factor is there, He's going to make those dry places to have water. Water is going to come to dry places because God is there, because that is what He does. He does impossible things. So it's not only just about leaving Nigeria. It's not all about going to a place that is better. It's much more important to know that God is going with you. And like I said, for you to also have principles that can help you function well wherever you go. So if you're a Nigerian, have you really come to accept that reality? And how have been feeling about it? I hope, like I said, that's not been making you very resentful about yourself, because this is one of the things that you can do nothing about. Or in the sense that you could, let me use a retrospective statement, or let me say it in a retrospective way. There is nothing you could do about where you are coming from. Even if you are not a Nigerian, there is nothing you could do about it. Now, if you are very, very happy with where you are coming from, then praise be to God. Even if you are a Nigerian and you're good, just like me, you are still thankful, then that's good. But if you are not happy that you are coming from a particular place, even if you're not a Nigerian, please, I just want you to come to accept that reality, because there's nothing you could do about it. You did not create yourself. We did not have a chance to choose where we wanted to come from. So it's a reality. We just have to accept that this is something I could not do about. Now, if, like I already said, you were not born in Nigeria, you were born in another country, and possibly you've not faced the reality of being a Nigerian, then that is your life story. And I believe that where you grew up in, rather, has actually favored your dreams, your plans, and has helped you to grow. However, if you're a Nigerian that grew up in Nigeria and you are still here in Nigeria, then I want you to just still be grateful to God that you are still alive. And if you are doing well in your field of interest, in your dreams, and all that God has for you, and all the desires you have in your heart, then thank God. That's also something to be always grateful for. There was a tweet I made the other time to say, and I was saying that some of us, we forget that it is opportunities that have made us better. And not because we are better talented than some people. There are a lot of talented and hardworking people who will never be appreciated or known because they don't have the opportunity. So if you have the opportunity to be successful in what you are doing, to get the opportunities that you have, then that's something to be very grateful for. But if you are still in the process of achieving your dreams, then thank God that God has given you a dream to work with. Thank God that God has given you a dream to work with, and trust that He's going to make those dreams to come to pass. But if you are still struggling with what your dream is, then ask God to help you to know what your dream is, and trust Him that He's going to bring it to pass. And if you are with your dream and Nigerian system is frustrating that dream, then I just want to encourage you that trust God. Everything will work out for your good as you keep on trusting Him. Wherever situation that you are in, I hope that God drops, something to be grateful for in your life, to thank Him or to be grateful, to move forward. And that's why, like I already said earlier, a congratulatory note, as inspired by the 2020 lockdown, has been made to always encourage as many of us listening to this podcast, at every beginning of the month, to encourage you, just to make you feel that well done, well done, well done. So wherever stage that you are in, just to accept the reality. First of all, accept what the reality is, but then what can I do next about it? What next can I do about my life? How next can I go for? For me personally, personally rather, personally, I even in times where I feel like, wow, my dreams, or I get overwhelmed by the things I'm yet to achieve with my life, the things that I've thought and planned in my head. Even when I get overwhelmed with the thought that some of those dreams still feel far-fetched, I still see God encouraging and just making me realize that, girl, there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be thankful for. And I don't want to focus so much on the things that are not, but what are the things that are for now. And I am willing to trust God for things that should be and the things that will be. So this is an encouragement to every Nigerian out there listening to this podcast. Please do not be resentful that you are a Nigerian, but just ask God, God, you made me a Nigerian. Why? And what is the what quota am I supposed to impute that would be of benefit, that would be of good interest? What am I supposed to do with this that you have given me? Or what am I supposed to do now that I'm a Nigerian and I'm living in Nigeria? What am I supposed to do with that? And how can I be productive with that? How can I be useful with that? How can it reflect in something that will bring an increase to my life, to people around me, to the country, and to the world in general? And if you're in Nigeria that is not living in Nigeria, please do not forget to always pray for your home country. And please do not make things worse for us, not instigate more disharmony, but do not forget to pray for the country and to also have a hope. He said the word of God in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says that, I know the thought that I have for you, to prosper you and to give you a good expected end. I'm paraphrasing. Now, when that verse was mentioned, it was not mentioned in a good time. It was mentioned in captivity. It was mentioned in war. Most times we like to quote some of these beautiful verses in the Bible, but we forget that most of these verses were not in good times. They were said in a prophetic way. They were said in difficult times. And those words were said to encourage the listeners. So the best time to say those words to ourselves are actually in difficult times, because that's what those words when they were said, that was what they were meant for, and they were not said in easy times. So yes, God has good thoughts and plans for us, but we need to align with Him in order for those plans to be achieved. Yes, we are not like everybody. Somebody else, my life is different from your life. Your life is different from someone else's life. So each of our lives is tailored in a unique way. So we need to trust God and follow God for our own life to be in accordance to what He wants. And not for us to focus on how other people's lives are going, but how our lives should go according to God's plan. So once again, happy independence to every Nigerian listening to this podcast. Happy 62nd birthday. Probably we are like older, but it may not be reflecting in our economy. It may be reflecting in the situation of the country. It's like we are not getting older and better for now, but I still have a very great hope. I'm still hopeful that it will be better. And I'm trusting God it will be better in my time. One time. Like, I'm trusting God for that. If rapture does not happen, I'm trusting God for that. That it's going to be better one time, one day in my time. And I'm trusting I'll be alive to experience, to see that come to pass. So yes, with that being said, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Rosecast. And if you have your comments, your feedback, whatever it is that you want to share, please do not hesitate to reach out to me to let me know. If you are following me on any of my social media platforms, you can actually just send a message quickly there and I'll respond to you. But if you are not, then click the link attached to this podcast platform and you can reach out to me through any of the buttons there. You can reach out to me through any of them. Just send me a message, or you can send me a message via the contact button and I will get your message and I'll respond to you. Due to the current schedule of my life at this moment, podcasting will not be as frequent, but I'll trust God that God will give me the grace to manage my time and to be able to share as possible. The Zipporah series going on Deeper Look has actually taken a lot of time, but I'm actually going to soon be it will soon be rounding up rather. So depending on when you are listening to this podcast, it may have already been rounded up. But if you've not read the O.R.A 2, then click the link attached to the podcast platform, check for deeper look, check on it, and it's available there. There are a lot of things I'm yet to do, but I thank God for all that God has been doing in my life. And I'm trusting God for the privilege to come back on the 11th month to send you congratulations notes once again. But I'm trusting that still in the month of October, another podcast to be shared. So if you're not subscribed to Roscast, please do subscribe to Roscast to be abreast, to be kept updated when a new podcast is released. So without any extra thing added to this podcast, thank you for being here on Roscast. Thank you for listening to this point. I hope that this blessed you and this encouraged you. And I hope you have a great day. I hope that you are encouraged to continue pursuing your dreams with God, and that you keep hopes alive. So with that being said, until next time on Rosecast, stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.